Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Vincent. I'm excited to teach you today a little bit about adversarial attacks and influences. Now, this is a topic that can be a little touchy and one that isn't addressed a lot, but it's one that I strongly believe that we need to address and that we need to be aware of. Now, this doesn't mean that we go out seeking these things, but in my beliefs, we've got to know what we're up against. We've got to know that there's an opposition. We've got to know what is working against us. And to encompass any belief system, I call these types of energies adversarial attacks. And this can be based on your belief system. This could be the devil, Satan, the enemy, darkness, negativity. This is anything that's working against you and from outside of yourself. And these types of energies come up so often, and so often we think that we're struggling with something that we created, but it was actually introduced to us, and we like, oh, maybe this is my truth. And so often we have to identify these attacks. We have to identify these influences and give them a name so that we can release them. And they typically release fairly easily through a scripting technique that I use to release them through prayer. And but we have to identify them. And so in my various sessions that I do, this is a topic that might come up of adversarial attacks or influences. And they can be connected to a belief, they can be connected to a feeling, and sometimes they can be connected to what's called programming. And we'll address that in a different video. But identifying these adversarial attacks is so important. It helps us open our heart, it helps us open our mind, it helps us shift perspective, shift thinking, shift our feelings, and be able to really deal with just us instead of those outside influences. And so a few different types of adversarial attacks, there's a lot of different ones, but I wanted just to touch on a few that are the most common that I see come up in various sessions. So the first is an adversarial attractor. And this is an energetic device that it almost acts like a magnet, like it attracts a specific belief energy or a specific feeling energy. So if you had like an adversarial attractor that attracted worthlessness, guess what you're going to be attracting? Guess what you're going to be bringing in? Feelings of worthlessness. So that an attractor is something that shows up pretty often in sessions. The next one is an adversarial diminisher. And I want you to kind of think of like a dial, and where you can turn the volume down or you can turn the volume up. And a diminisher is going to be turning the volume down, usually on something that's good. So I'll see adversarial diminishers, and they will be connected usually to a positive feeling, such as empowered or ambition. And if you're turning down that positive thing from an outside influence, you can see where that can cause some problems. The next one, the opposite of a diminisher, is an enhancer. And an enhancer is going to turn that volume up. It's going to ramp up that negative feeling or that negative belief. So let's say your belief is, I am worthless, and you have an adversarial enhancer connected to that belief. Well, guess what? It's going to turn that volume up so that it's louder than it should be. It's loud. Not that that should be there at all, because you're not worthless. But it turns up those negative beliefs or those negative feelings to where they are disproportionately ruling our feelings and our perceptions and the way that we go about life. And many times it's on a subconscious level where we don't even realize that that's what we're doing until somebody points it out, which I get to be that messenger many times. So that's a diminisher and an enhancer. Another thing that comes up quite frequently is an adversarial loop. And this is an energy where it's kind of on repeat. So if you think of a loop, and it's just a loop is a circle, right? And this loop, if you have one that's connected to a belief or a feeling, it's going to have that on repeat. And so if you have let's say you have an adversarial loop and it's connected to the belief of I am worthless, and that's on repeat. I am worthless. I am worthless. I am worthless. I am worthless. And it's just an over and over and over and over. It doesn't matter how many times you try to have those positive affirmations, or you try to shift your belief set, or whatever you're trying to do. If you've got this outside loop playing, it's going to be really hard to overcome until you identify that and release it. So loops come up very, very often. Another one is an adversarial perversion or an adversarial distortion. And these are kind of very similar, but a little bit different words. But this is where a belief or a feeling is going to get distorted. It's going to get perverted. It's going to get warped, and it's going to create irrational beliefs, irrational feelings within you that shifts your perspective, it shifts your understanding, and creates a lot of dissonance within your emotional well-being. So there are also different adversarial devices, and you'll see these come up in different sessions. Things such as an adversarial object, a net, a tool, a weapon, um, things like that they're just like energetic devices that trip you up, and they're usually going to be connected to a belief or an emotion. So as we identify these, I release them through prayer and let Jesus Christ take care of that, because he is the one that is doing all the healing. I am just the messenger. I just identify it and ask that it gets released. And as we release these, our heart is able to open up, our mind is able to open up, we're able to shift our feelings and our perspectives, and we're able to progress on our journey to being our best self. So make sure to watch for adversarial attacks or influences in your life. And as they come up, ask that they get released and that any and all damage be healed through Jesus Christ. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.